welcome to Catamaran Cocktails. You get me tonight. Ryan's off playing poker, and last week I promised you a tour of the salon, so here you go. You get it. This is it. Yeah, welcome. What you see is what you get. Now that I've officially opened Wave House Hair Studio, I thought it might be a nice idea to share with you 3 things that you might want to consider if you're thinking about opening up a business in the Caribbean. All right, number 1, consider how much it's gonna cost to get the stuff you need. I kind of had a feeling that going into this that the biggest expense in pulling this little operation together was going to be getting the things that I needed. So depending on what you're thinking about doing, just remember, it's not so easy to find what you're looking for. There's no mall, there's no Amazon, there's no TJ Maxx. You can't just run to Target and get some little knickknacks. It's like almost hard to spend money here. Like you can't even go shopping if you wanted to. It's weird. And it took me a really long time to hunt down some of the stuff that I needed, and I repurposed a lot of things. The salon chair you're looking at right there came down from Canada. From everything from the hair color that I used to the sink that's behind me. A lot of it, most of it, all of it had to get shipped in. Then once it's arrived, you also have to pay a pretty hefty duty. Just to give you an example, it cost me more to get the hair sink down here and through customs than it did for the actual item. So the point is, I think is, think about what you're gonna need and then try to find ways to be creative on how to either buy used. All of my hair tools run off of 110. The AC is also 110, the fridge is 220, and we're all wired up here for Grenadian voltage, which is 240. So I got this big honking thing there, and I was able to trade a couple of haircuts for getting that installed. I bought that second hand, which is great. Or recycle or upcycle. You want to say what you're doing?
I'm going to cut out this shelving unit and put new shelves in.
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. And we're gonna throw this away. It didn't look like this before. It was really dirty and super beat up, and we were able to restore it. But it's got this super weird thing in the back where people used to drop envelopes in the back. So Ryan's gonna cut that out and make me some new shelves. Oh, and that oh, sure.
That way you have that, and then you still have that if you want vertical.
Yeah. So I was really looking for ways I could be creative and come up with things that are a little bit outside the box. So it doesn't look like much yet, but this is the progress I've made so far. We've, painted all the walls, and we're beginning the mural. I did a lot of my own handiwork, and so this floor here is actually painted. It's just some type of it's literally like a paint, and if you go to scratch it up, it goes like that, but even lighter than that. And I actually really liked the color of this wood, and I didn't want to go lighter. So I'm going to clear everything out of here, sweep, mop. I'm gonna have to use some turpentine to get the paint off the floor because I thought I was sanding, so I didn't care so much about the paint. So now I have to get that up. Then I'll go in and use some wood stain to see if I can just at least sort of disguise the scratches like a little bit. And then finally I will just varnish. I want it to be at least like smooth so that it's easy to sweep up in here because there'll be, hair and stuff like that. Hey everyone, I just wanted to show you what I'm up to. So this is the mirror that I have. That's gonna end up going up there. So there's nothing really wrong with the color. My issue with it is that the room has kind of like this distressed vibe to it, and this isn't distressed. So I've already started sanding down to take off that dark, and I've got a pretty cool idea. We'll see how it goes. My friend Karina is coming over to help me with this. Hopefully it turns out good. So anyway, let's get into number 2. Get on island time. The things that I purchased, they came down on an ocean freight, and I believe they got here a few days ago, so it's just getting everything through customs and then having it delivered. It should be here like in a couple of days. The stuff's probably gonna come tomorrow, right?
Who?
The stuff getting cleared from customs will probably happen tomorrow. Friday?
No.
No.
No, it's not there before 1 week or 2 weeks.
Okay. Getting on island time. What do I mean by that? It's much more than a pace. It's sort of like an attitude. You're gonna have to be okay with good enough. Well, I don't know if you guys just heard that, but my shipment is not going to be here this Friday. It's gonna be here in 2 Fridays. Be prepared for things to go wrong and be okay with that. Somehow I blew a fuse so bad that nothing in here works, which stinks because I just got someone to do the electrical. So yep, that's a thing. I did that. It sucks. Hopefully I didn't ruin my transformer, but we'll find out today. There's an electrician coming. You're the type of person that really needs things to be specific and exactly how you want them, and you expect people to show up on time or else you get frustrated. Probably not a good idea to even think about doing something business related in a place like Grenada. It's not laziness, it's not anything like that. It's just the way it is. And there's a lot of like, oh, that's just the way it is types of things that go on here. But there's so many good things that go along with that. If you've got good ideas and you're ambitious, you will totally have like all the opportunity in the world to be a big fish in a small pond. You don't need much to get going. I say like the pay to play cost is very low. Like the entry level into doing a business is very low because you don't have all the red tape that you would in North America. You know, you don't have to worry so much about fire codes and licensing and stuff like that. Also, community is pretty prevalent, more than I think I've ever experienced anywhere that I've lived. You really want to like be interactive with your neighbors because they're all willing to help and they're all willing to answer your questions, and so that helps too, especially if you're trying to do something that you've never done before. Like that's just kind of like the vibe here, and it's absolutely wonderful because you know, I didn't know anything about importing stuff. I didn't, you know, I needed help with my plumbing. I've never, you know, I didn't know where to beat in the concrete wall, and like, you know, people are just jumping in, and so many hands have touched this space. It's just incredible, and it just has such a good feeling because of that. So yeah, so I personally think island time is a plus. Good enough is totally okay. Like, you don't need much to get started. The pay to play cost is very low, meaning, you know, to start a bit, like if you really wanted to start a business, you could get up and running and you don't have to be a perfectionist about it and pay very little to start, right? So while it doesn't take a lot to get moving, there is a catch, and that brings me to number 3, prepare for your work permit. So getting my work permit was confusing. No computer system is linked, so you have to go from department to department, and they really kind of do everything almost by hand. Like, here's your stamp, okay, now you gotta go there. And it's very confusing, especially if you don't know where you're going, because buildings don't have addresses here. And they give you this list. You need letters of recommendation. They ask for an original police report. They ask for your birth certificate, also has to be original. So there's this whole list. You have to take little packets of little things to different departments, and it's all has to be in the right order. Like, I actually had to hire an accountant hourly, which wasn't much, to help me, just because like she kind of knew like how the system was supposed to go. And I didn't know that I could even get a work permit. If I had known that I was gonna go down this route, I would have prepared ahead of time. Fortunately, Ryan is still working full-time and I'm still working online as an educator, so we were able to get by while we were waiting for the work permit. If I had known I was going to do this, what I would have done is before I moved, I would have made sure I saved up like at least 6 months of living expenses because it takes that long. Also, it varies which country you're from, but I know that Americans have to pay $1,000 and that lasts a year. So that's another thing to consider, is just make sure that you're gonna be able to make enough money to make that worth it. Am I missing anything? Cool guys, thanks for joining me, and let me know if you want more information on any of these topics. I'm totally happy to go more in depth if you're curious, or even just private message me. We've got more coming your way, so stay tuned. Ryan says hi, and we will catch you next week.